So when did you start writing poetry?
Oh, that's a good question. Probably when I got out of the Marines, or shortly after I got out of the Marines. Before that, I'd written a few short stories in high school, but no real poetry until after the Marine Corps, when I started going out to sea, working on the University of Miami's research vessels, living in Miami. That happened about 1971. So a lot of the poems in this book are written between, say, 71 and 81 maybe.
Would you like to read one or two to us?
I'd love to read a couple of them, since you ask. I picked a couple. These were both written while I was waiting to become a merchant marine. I was living in a whorehouse on North Miami Avenue in Miami, which was a far different, far slummier place than it is after all of their civic betterment since then. And so I used to hang out at a bar called the Red Pig Pub, where an old ex-trapeze artist named John ran the joint. And we'd get into massive political arguments, the whole bar would. So I wrote this poem. Later on, after I wrote the poem, John got, he was always kind of depressed, and he actually killed himself. So this one is dedicated to John, and I don't think I ever knew his last name. Laughing John. Laughing John pours wine from a scarlet pig, mirth by the glass for the world's underloved. Strength by the bottle for the hungry weak, lapping pours wise John. Oil upon the waters for the city's poor fish, too lost to spawn. Bring me a wine, old John-o. Mad John weaves words through the darkling room. Politics of the absurd for the delirious. Obscenity by the lubricated schooner, raving pours Mad John. Street directions for the eternally lost to remember on their way to nowhere. Give me a wine, old John-o. Cosmic John in a world outside of this time, stable in its inability to change, redundant faces breathing sameness on the bright work. Trapped John pours forever on laughing at the thrice told tales. Star actor in a play stuck in one scene. Old John, bring me a wine. Wise John, bring me a wine and roll the dice to see who pays. Oh, we know who pays, old John and I. Roll easy the dice, old John. I will not stay in your licorice gloom, but I'll toast you along my way with a bottle to go, old John.
So you were in Miami between cruises as a sailor?
Yeah, I cruised on the University of Miami research vessel from about 1971 to 75 or 74. We went all over the world. Easter Island, all over the world.
I can't imagine you with all those young co-eds at that time. That must have been quite
I didn't spend much time at the, that's me during those days. That's the guy that wrote this poetry.
And this is the guy that girls were fighting over in Brazil to see who could have him.
I told you that story. Two girls fighting over me in a bar on the floor of Fortaleza, Brazil. It was an evening. That was an evening. Well, one of the girls who wasn't fighting over me but fucked me for money was a little black prostitute that lived in the same whorehouse I did, named Kitty. And I wrote a poem about her, too. Kitty. I met you first on a quiet Christmas morning, leaning on a shabby corner where winos leave their sighs. You eyed me with a knowing glint that saw my randy lonesomeness and my aching wanderer's need to touch another human being. You said, "Oh, brother, if you got a paper dime, let's climb within this old hotel and I'll show you a good time. I'll play old pagan drum beats on your white honky skin. It will make you flush with pleasure like your mother would blush with sin. There's heroin in your urine, pretty kitty, and your body is in a methadone caress. Your skin is like black patent leather under your thin pink cotton dress." So I gave the greasy man a nickel. He gave me change, an oily smile, and a key worn soft and smooth from a tired world's lechery. Then I followed the sway of your knowing round ass as it rose upstairs you knew so well, past the window without any glass. I put some money in your hand to lighten a little your blues, and then placed my dusty boots beside your worn black dancing shoes. Hey, the streets are a hard dancing floor, pretty kitty, when your monkey is begging for more, and the cops are calling for freebies, and the citizens calling you whore. Now, Christmas is a slow-born time for those who like honky-tonk play. So we talked trash and fondled and rather put business away. We jibed about the good folks were and the bad spots that we had been in, the comparative merits of fake and real fur, and the different shades of our skin. We measured the size of your breasts and admired your wiry muff, discussed which positions work best, and agreed there is never enough for enough. Hey, you know you're a right foxy woman, little kitty, so how come you're living with Jones? He's eating your meat and potatoes and leaving you gnawing on bones. And in the end I was just another pale needle, without even much of a rush, just another shot of milk sugar, a burn that could have been lush. You're still a slave, little kitty, and I don't like the master you serve. He has taken the edge off your living and deadened the ends of your nerves. I met you occasionally after that. Perhaps I was even your friend, although I can't really say I ever knew you. And I wasn't there at the end. Kitty, I'm sure that if I led your life, I would have had the same bane, given your despair and desolate stripe all powdered with smack and cocaine. Somehow I can't help but feeling you deserve better from life. Yeah, somehow I can't help but feeling you'd have made someone a fine little wife. Trite? So what if I'm trite? After all, I'm just one more John. But the street is a little less bright now that your pink dress is gone. Hey, where's that baby girl of yours, Kitty, and is she learning to sell? I hear they need a couple new oars in front of that old hotel.